Iterate fast, iterate dirty. It's a mantra that I've used in production for over a decade. But what does that exactly mean? So, usually, if you're starting a game project or any kind of creative or innovative project, the beginning is easy. It is very easy to be very excited about your game or your project. It is very easy to have a lot of ideas about your game or your project. And then gradually, months pass by, and then things start getting slow. This big vision you had, this big idea that you have, does not seem to stick. It does not seem to generate as much of a fanfare that you thought it would generate. Your investors are not happy. Your stakeholders don't really see value in it. But most importantly, it's the end users. They don't seem to be really sticking to this idea. Where did it all go wrong? Well, now all of a sudden you're 6 months or even 1 year into production and you're still changing your idea. You're still adding more features. And no matter what you do, no matter who you bring in, the game or the project just doesn't seem to take off. So, iterate fast, iterate dirty. The whole philosophy revolves around this very simple concept that let's move towards failure quickly, iterate on things which we are going to eliminate quickly, and find the sweet spot, the core experience loop or the core gameplay loop. It's always easier to build a feature set or a system once you have the core loop figured out. But if you don't have the core loop figured out, what's going to happen often is you're going to go into panic mode. You're going to add more and more features. And no matter what features you add, you're going to find that you do not retain users and you do not have the user engagement that you really want to have. This is because you haven't taken the time to really test out your core gameplay loop or your core experience loop, and you have built this entire game or project on just a high concept, which is not enough because largely many high concept projects, especially when done with inexperienced teams, fail. So let's imagine you're making a first person shooter, and it's very easy to go in and add multiple crafting systems, multiple weapon systems, different kind of environments, and also go into level design. You might have beautiful environment art that's shown to the team on a daily basis and everyone is super excited. But 6 months down the line, when you test this game, no one actually likes the game, especially no one outside your family or your friends. So, what went wrong? What went wrong is something like a first person shooter is deceptively hard to get right. That is because in your core loop, that shooting experience in itself should feel awesome. Your recoil mechanic should feel awesome. The weight of your gun should feel amazing. When you shoot the bullet interacting with an NPC, an AI, or even the environment, all of it should have a different feel. Look up chaos physics for some of this. Without actually getting through that stage and making the shooting itself gratifying and rewarding for the shooter, a lot of teams move on to additional features, additional system design, and this is where the core falls flat. And you find yourself now reverse engineering and hitting up different aspects of the game which has nothing to do with the core. If you had iterated fast early on and really dive deeper through research and understanding what makes first person shooter ticks, that would have saved you a lot of time because then you would have focused on the right areas. You would have iterated fast. You would have tested your prototypes a lot faster. Which brings me to another point, the importance of game gyms. So, game gyms. Game gyms are extremely important. Think of it as isolated areas where you test out specific mechanics, and this can be done for experiential design too. So, let's say you want to test an interactive experience where a player moves his hand across an LED screen, and the screen interacts based on the user's hand movement. And then a lot of other things happen. Well, an important aspect is to isolate that experience of a user hand movement and interaction with the screen and only keep prototyping that aspect till you get it perfect. That's what game gyms help us to do. So, examples of game gyms are you could have a movement gym. In this case, you would have actions like jump, you would have actions like run, you would have actions like sprint, all of them prototyped with different objects, environmental specifically, and you would test it out till you get that movement correct because movements are such an important part of any kind of interactive experience. So, iterate fast, iterate dirty. The whole philosophy revolves around this very simple concept that let's move towards failure quickly, iterate on things which we are going to eliminate quickly, and find the sweet spot, the core experience loop or the core gameplay loop. It's always easier to build a feature set or a system once you have the core loop figured out. But if you don't have the core loop figured out, what's going to happen often is you're going to go into panic mode. You're going to add more and more features. And no matter what features you add, you're going to find that you do not retain users and you do not have the user engagement that you really want to have. If you like this kind of topic, please consider subscribing. I'm looking to grow this channel and also bring a lot of industry guests who will come in with relevant experiences to share. Until then, see ya.